Alright, I was just wanting to do a quick video to show you how I revamped a Carpenter's hatchet into a tomahawk or bushcraft axe, whatever you want to call it. Now this is a before picture of the Carpenter's hatchet. Obviously I don't have the actual before because, well, I cut it up. But what I did is I took the Carpenter's hatchet, the basic shape of it, and just a second. And I wanted to rework it by reshaping the edge a little bit, give it a more rounded blade, and also I cut out belly of it down here to give it more of the tomahawk shape, so you can kind of see taking shape. And then after I had done that, I looked at it and decided also to cut this section off to give it that kind of a basic look. Now, what I did to accomplish this is, first I took just a regular old cutoff wheel and I made the first straight cut across here. I also used it to make this straight cut. But to get the inner curve, I used the cut wheel to make small cuts this way. And then I took a standard grinding wheel and ground away the majority of the material there. As a side note, when I was doing this, when I was actually doing the grinding, I'd make a few passes with the grinder, dunk it in water, make a few passes, dunk it in water so that you don't lose the temper. Then to polish up the blade itself and smooth out where I'd made the cuts, reshape the edge, I used the flap disc. This one's a 40 grit. All this was done with a 4.5 inch angle grinder. Side note, it's always a good idea to wear eye protection and ear protection when you're doing this. But what I eventually wound up with is this tomahawk. Now if we kind of take a look at the whole thing, you'll notice too that that's not the same handle as it had before. So, get that out of the way. But I had recut, made the cuts I talked about, kind of reshaped the edge to give it more of a curve. Did the final sharpening with a file. But then I took an old sledgehammer handle, kind of like this one, which I have too many broken sledgehammer handles. But to give it the grip that you see there, I used the flap grinder and just touched it to it as I went, give it a little texture. Looking back and feeling the way it feels now, I probably would have come in from the top to make my cuts, because it has a little more grip going up than it does coming back, but it's still got a nice feel to it. The leather collar on there is probably ultimately unnecessary, but I went to a tack shop and I bought a piece of leather and sewed it up just as an edge protector for when I'm carrying it somewhere or have it, in a truck or on the pack, whatever. It doesn't cut everything to pieces. But so I just had a little extra leather and made a collar for it. Then after I had textured the handle like I talked about, I just went about 2/3 of the way up. I just hit it with some dark walnut stain just to give it a little more color. But then the head itself, I took the flap sander and just kind of went over it and knocked off the majority of the rust and stuff. As you can see right there, it says Stanley. This used to be a Stanley Carpenter axe. But that's basically what I did. I think cutting the head took 30 minutes or so. Grinding down the I used a flap sander for a lot of the shaping on the handle too, to make it fit into the axe head. Doing that and setting the head on the handle, was probably another 20 something minutes. So all told, not counting sewing the leather, it was about an hour-long project. But that's what I did to turn an old carpenter's hatchet into a tomahawk, and it's got a good feel in the hand, and it's effective as a hatchet and also as a hammer, which I like. Another option, if you so prefer, would be to take your cutoff wheel and just cut off the hammerhead as well, and that would leave you obviously just a tomahawk. But I like the functionality of having a hammerhead on there. All right, if you got any questions, let me know, and I hope you enjoy the tutorial. If I can come up with another one of these hammers, I might do a video of in the process of making one. This is an old one that somebody had given me, but of course you can buy these at Lowe's, Home Depot. I think even Walmart sells them. You can buy a carpenter's hatchet for about $20. So, all right, hope you enjoyed.